Nile Delta International High School, and we urge you all to subscribe to his Gov TV. Thank you.
Hello, you're welcome to his Gov TV. Before we begin with what we are supposed to do today, I would like to remind you to subscribe to our channel if you have not done so. This is a channel that gives you educative content on Christian religious studies, CRS, as well as history, government, and we also go beyond trending historical topics in world history and then African history. And so if you have not subscribed, kindly do that for us in order to encourage us to do more of these educative content. Good. So today we are looking at Christian religious studies, and the topic that we are looking at today is Joseph as a leader. And specifically, we will look at the dreams of Joseph. And that's the first thing that we are supposed to know about Joseph, the dreams that he had. And then we will take our Bible text from Genesis chapter 37, verse 5 to 11. Okay, and as a CRS student, I expect that you have your Bible with you, the RSV version. We are not accepting any other Bible version with the exception of the RSV. So if your Bible is not RSV, I would encourage you not to even open, because that RSV is the approved Bible by GES. And so that is what I expect you to read. If not, you'll find it difficult answering objective questions in your WASI exams. So yes, get RSV Bible and let's begin with our discussion. So we are going to look at the dreams of Joseph today. In our previous lesson, if you have not watched, I will add the link in the description so that you can go in there and go and watch. So in our previous video, we learned about the creation story, where we looked at the priestly and the Yahweh's account. And I gave you an assignment that go and look out for the differences and the similarities that existed between both the priestly account as well as the Yahweh's account. And I'm very much sure that you did that assignment. Good. So that is what we look at, the creation story, and we saw that there were two creation accounts, which we said the priestly and the Yahweh's account, and we saw the differences and all of that. So once again, if you did not watch that video, the link is in the description, or you go through the CRS playlist on our channel and you would have it there for yourself. So let's go in there and look at our lesson objectives for today, what we are supposed to learn for today. Good. So today, basically, our lesson objective is simple. It's for us to be able to narrate the dreams of Joseph. So we should be able to narrate the dreams of Joseph by the end of this lesson. And then again, be able to identify the price that Joseph paid, okay, as a result of his dreams. So as a result of the dreams that Joseph had, what price did he pay with regards to he narrating his dreams to his brothers. And so basically these two objectives are what we are supposed to work with and also have in mind as we read the Bible and also learn. You have these two lessons in mind. So let's quickly go in there and look at the content for our lesson for today. But before we go and read the Bible, we should understand something about Joseph, the man that we will be talking about in our next 3 or 4 videos, because there are a lot about him that the syllabus require that we treat. And so before we begin, we have to look at the background of Joseph. Who is Joseph? So that this background can give us an idea about the man that we are going to be talking about. So Joseph's father, or his father, was called Jacob. All right. So it was Jacob who gave birth to Joseph. All right, and later named Israel. So Jacob his name was later changed to be called Israel. Israel, because God says, or God promised him that he was the one who a nation was going to come out from, and that was the nation of Israel today, as we know them in the Middle East. Okay, and so his name was changed to Israel, and it was Israel who gave birth to Joseph. So in our reading of the Bible, sometimes you come across Jacob, and sometimes you may come across Israel, and Israel loved Joseph. So you should know that we are still referring to the father of Joseph, okay, of Joseph. So that is what you should know. The father of Joseph was called Jacob, who was later named Israel. These are objective questions that could be asked, so please be mindful of them. Now, Jacob, that's Joseph's father, he married 2 sisters, Leah and then Rahel. These were 2 sisters that Jacob married. And somebody would ask, so how come Jacob was able to marry 2 sisters? Was it right? These issues have to do with culture. Some cultures do not permit, whilst other cultures do permit. And so, it is not in our domain to say that it is wrong or right. Okay, but I'm sure that at that time in the Jewish culture, they allowed people to marry 2 sisters. Even in our Akan, I think Akans have a culture whereby when you marry from that group, house, and you happen to treat your wives well, sometimes they can add up another, the sister of your wife. They can add her to you. So, and some societies in the north do marry, but like I said earlier, it all has to do with culture. It has nothing to do with religion, but culture at this point. And so that was the reason why Jacob would marry 2 sisters, and it seems all right. Now again, he again had children with his wife's maid, and these children were Bilhah and Zipporah. Okay, so aside these 2 sisters that Jacob married, Jacob again had children with his wife's maid, Bilhah and Zipporah. Now, through these women, Jacob had 12 sons and a daughter. So now you get to understand that Jacob, the total number of children that Jacob or Israel had were 12, was 12 sons and a daughter. And these 12 sons and daughters were given to him by Leah, Rahel, Bilhah, and Zipporah. And so these 12 sons and a daughter were given to him by these 4 wives that he had. So in all, he had 12 sons and a daughter. That was Israel. Now, let's take a look at the names of these 12 sons. Like I said earlier, all these are objective questions, and so they may be asking you in the objective. So you can write them down if you so want to, and you have to. Now, these sons, 12 sons, were Reuben, Simon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Joseph, and Benjamin. Yes, so you can mention these names as I mentioned them. You can go through them again. Let me go through them again with you. You can repeat after me. Reuben, Simon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Joseph, and Benjamin. So these were the 12 sons of Jacob. Okay, so these were the 12 sons that Jacob had, and you can see the man that we are talking about over there, Joseph. Okay, and in the course of our learning, you come across all these brothers of Joseph. Now, these names later became the tribes of Israel. So you recall I told you here that Jacob was renamed as Israel, and I said that God promised him that he was going to, a nation was going to come out of him. Good, and so his children's name became the 12 tribes of Israel, and it was upon these 12 tribes that God was going to build a nation from the children of Jacob. Okay, and so you have a tribe called Reuben tribe, Simon, Levi, Judah tribe, Issachar, Zebulun, Naphtali, blah blah blah, and co. But interesting, of course, Benjamin tribe. Interestingly, Joseph's name was not among any of the 12 tribes of Israel. So if you search on the net to look for the 12 tribes of Israel, you realize that Joseph's name is not part of those 12, even though I have already said that the children of Jacob, the names of Jacob's children now became the 12 tribes in Israel, but you will not find Joseph's name in the 12 tribes, mainly because no tribe was named after Joseph. Okay, no tribe was named after his name. However, his two sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, became the tribe of Israel. So Ephraim and Manasseh became the tribe. So we have a tribe also called Ephraim, and also another tribe called Manasseh. So these two were the sons of Joseph, and so in a way, Joseph was represented in the tribes of Israel, even though his name was not there explicitly. I think that his children were represented. So Joseph married a certain woman known as Asenath, okay, and he bore him two sons. That was Ephraim and Manasseh. Good. So basically, this is a little information about the man we know, or the man that we are going to talk about, Joseph. A very, very little information, and you will need this all along as we move on in our discussion. Keep this there so that you don't lose track of the background of Joseph. So let's now go in there and look at the dreams of Joseph. All right, the dreams of Joseph, and we will take our Bible verse from Genesis chapter 37, verse 5 to 11. I particularly like reading the Bible because students don't like, reading the Bible. When you don't like, if you don't read the Bible text, what happens is that you find it very, very difficult in answering the objective questions. All right, and so I encourage that we read the Bible together. So before we even look at what I have for you, let's go in there and read the Bible. So open with me to Genesis chapter 37, verse 5 to 11, and let's read the Bible together. All right, let's read the Bible together. So let me get my Bible ready. Yes, so I have my open here. Good. So we have Genesis chapter 37, verse 5 to 11. So let's read it together. All right, I hope you can see. You can also read your Bible along with me. Now Joseph had a dream, and when he told it to his brothers, they only hated him the more. He said to them, hear this dream which I have dreamed. So behold, we were binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and stood upright. And behold, your sheaves gathered around it and bowed down to my sheaf. So this was the first dream of Joseph. Let's move on to what the brothers said. His brothers said to him, are you indeed to reign over us, or you indeed to have a dominion over us? So they hated him. Yet for the dreams and for his word. So one reason why Joseph was hated by his friends was, one, because of his dreams and what he told them. So we will go in there and look at the sheaves and the sheaves issue when we go back to the slides, okay? But just bear in mind that the sheaf, his own, stood up, and then his brothers own bowed down to him. Let's move on to the next one. Then he dreamed another dream, and in it to his brothers, and he said, behold, I have dreamed another dream, and behold, the sun, the moon, and the 11 stars were bowing to me. So Joseph again tells his brothers that he has again had another dream, and in that dream, it was no more about sheaves or sheep, but then his brothers, sun, moon, and stars were all bowing down to him. So dreams have interpretation. You know that, yes. And in those days, dreams were considered to be a form of communication between man and a deity and God. And even today, we still hold that perception that dreams are forms of communication. So if one, dreamed about something, he tries to find out the interpretation to that dream. Okay, and so basically, that is what dreams are made of. Dreams are very, very important. Now, and when he told his father, okay, so now when he told it to his father and to his brothers, his father rebuked him and said to him, what is this dream that you have dreamed? Shall I and your mother and your brothers indeed come to bow ourselves to the ground before you? And his brothers were jealous of him, but his father kept the saying in mind. So another reason for his brothers' jealousy was all because of his dream. So even the father has interpreted the dreams for us. In the dream, he says that, are you saying that you're me, your mother, and myself as your father, your mother, and your brothers are going to bow down to you? So that was the meaning of Joseph's dream. Okay, that was the meaning of Joseph's dream. That was the meaning of Joseph's dream. So let's go back to the slide. Okay, let's go back to the slides and see how best we can understand the dream and then interpret the dream well. Okay, good. So let's open the slides. Good. So this, if you don't know a sheep, so this is a sheep or sheaves. Okay, so you see that they bind them. You see a farmer, but of course, binding some of the sheaves over here. Okay, or the sheaves over here. You can see it here, over here. So this is yes. So they bind it, as you have seen in the next one. You see, after they bind, then they make it stand upright. So they put it on the ground. And so this is what Joseph was referring to. So this is what we call the sheaves. Okay, the sheaves. Now he says that Joseph, so in his dream, he sees his half-brothers binding sheaves, okay, in the field. So as you can see here, they're binding the sheaves together, Then all of a sudden, what happened was that the sheaves of his brothers stood upright. Okay, the sheaves of his brothers stood upright. The sheaves of his brothers stood upright. So look at this here. You can see that you can put it on the ground and it can also stand upright. So his brothers' own stood upright, and then they formed a circle. Okay, they formed a circle around the sheaf of Joseph. So one of this bundle is called sheaf, and then the a lot is called sheep. So the sheaf is the singular form of sheep. So it's the same thing. So around the sheaf of Joseph, and bow down to it. So you can have that in your mind. Look, so one of these sheaf will come in the middle here. Then all the other sheep will bow down to that one sheaf. That was what Joseph's dream was. So the first sheaf of Joseph represented himself, and also the other sheaves of his brothers also represented his brothers. And therefore, what this dream meant was that the brothers of Joseph were going to bow down to Joseph at a point in life. Okay, yes, and that is the message that God was giving to Joseph. I don't know if you were part of Joseph's brothers. I don't know how you feel about this. And Joseph was the last but one. Okay, even though Benjamin was there, but Joseph was the last but one. So let's look at the next dream. The next dream was that the next dream again was that in the other dream, he sees the sun. Okay, he also sees the moon. Okay, he sees the sun, he sees the moon, and then he also sees the 11 stars. So the 11 stars here represent his brothers. Okay, the 11 stars bowing before him. Again, bowing before him. So the sun, the moon will represent the father and the mother, and then the 11 stars will represent the brothers. Again, bowing down to him. So the interpretation of this dream was simple, that at a point in time, his brothers, his mother, his children, were his mom, his father, and then his brothers were going to bow down to him, and that is what his father rebuked him of. So a question could also be asked: what was the father's reaction when Joseph told him about the dream? He rebuked him. So bear that in mind. All these are objective questions that they can ask you. Fantastic. So now that we can narrate the dream of Joseph, let's take a look at the penalty that he paid, or the price that he paid as a result of narrating his dreams. We have already indicated, or the Bible has made us understand, that Joseph's brother hated him. They became jealous of him because of his dreams. So what were some of the price that he had to pay? So the first one was the fact that the dreams of Joseph, deepened the hatred and the jealousy that the brothers had for him, and also envy of his brothers. Okay, the brothers also envied him. We have already said that. So it deepened that hatred and jealousy. Good. And then his brothers also plotted to kill him. Okay, his brothers also plotted to kill him. Basically because of his dream. He had to pay for his life, and they were thinking in their mind that, yes, we will kill you and see how we will come and bow down to your dead body. I'm sure that is what they were thinking about. Okay, and then also the dream, also he was sold because of his dream. He was sold into slavery. Okay, he was sold into slavery because of his dream. He was sold into slavery in Egypt, and that is when they sold him out to some Egyptians, whom we will look at as we move on. And so these were the prices that Joseph had to pay for his dream. I don't know what you think about the actions of Joseph. Do you think that it was right that Joseph told his dream to his brothers? And even if you were to be in the shoe of Joseph, do you think that you would have told your brothers about the dream? I don't know what you think about that. Would you have told your brothers? I'm not also too sure if Joseph knew that his brothers hated him. Sort of. I mean, what do you think? If you were to be in the shoes of Joseph, would you have told them? Would have told them and all of that? But yeah, these were the prices that he had to pay. Fantastic. So today we've had a very interesting class. Today I know that you have enjoyed the class. This is a trial work for you. Try your hands on them. Narrate the dreams of Joseph. Very, very simple. You begin with an introduction about Joseph, who he was, something small about him. Then you narrate the dreams and also explain the meaning of the dreams. Good. So thank you for your time. Subscribe to the channel if you have not. We will meet some other time. So in our next lesson, we are going to look at how Joseph came to live in Egypt, because he was not in Egypt. He was in Canaan. But how did he come to live in Egypt, even though he wasn't?
God TV, First Among Equals. Bye.